It was big optics and big awards as Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping came face-to-face on the sidelines of the SCO summit in Tianjin on Sunday morning. Xi's message was clear. The dragon and the elephant are ready to dance. But can warm words translate into trust? Here's a report.
A historic handshake in Tianjin. Xi Jinping and Narendra Modi together again after the 2024 BRICS summit. The message: reset, rapprochement, renewal. The two leaders pointed to progress since their Kazan meet last year, disengagement on the border, resumed talks and preparations for restoring flights. There were more takeaways: a reaffirmed commitment to border peace and disengagement, an agreement to expand trade and reduce deficit, a push to resume the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, support for more people-to-people exchanges and coordination in multilateral fora. Delhi stressed peace, stability and a mutually acceptable resolution of the boundary question.
पूरी मानवता के कल्याण का मार्ग भी प्रशस्त होगा। परस्पर विश्वास, सम्मान और संवेदनशीलता के आधार पर हम अपने संबंधों को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध हैं।
China called it the dragon-elephant dance. Xi told Modi this is the right choice for both sides.
The world today is swept by once-in-a-century transformations. The international situation is both fluid and chaotic. China and India are two ancient civilizations in the East. We are the world's two most populous countries, and we are also important members of the global South. We both shoulder the historical responsibility of improving the well-being of our two peoples, promoting the solidarity and rejuvenation of developing countries, and promoting the progress of human society. It is the right choice for both sides to be friends, who have good neighborly and amicable ties, partners who enable each other's success, and to have the dragon and the elephant dance together.
Xi also underlined the 75th anniversary of China-India ties, calling for strategic communication, trust and long-term cooperation. Modi in turn spoke of the Asian century powered by India and China. But India's engagement with China comes with limits. The elephant does not forget. China's ironclad alliance with Pakistan remains a thorn. On Kashmir, terrorism and UNSC debates, Beijing has stood by Islamabad, not Delhi. For India, that trust deficit runs deep. And then the global context, the US factor, Trump's return to the White House, steep tariffs on Indian goods, friction over Russian oil. America's pressure has pushed India to look again at Beijing. For now, the optics are positive. Xi and Modi talking, smiling, promising cooperation. But the dance is delicate. A range of obstacles persist in a relationship that has been blue hot, blue cold down the decades. And issues extend from the border, where temperatures remain high, to a lopsided trade balance and competing influences in the Indian subcontinent and Asia. The dragon and the elephant may be moving in step today, but whether this tango becomes a lasting rhythm or stumbles at the next border flare-up is still an open question. History, geopolitics and hard realities may yet decide in the end. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Still on that, we earlier spoke with experts from several SCO member countries for more insights on the historic summit and its significance. Here's what they told WION.
Look, I think the process between India and China, as you rightly said, has been on for the past 1 year or so. And also, the visit of Prime Minister Modi for the SCO meeting had been announced quite well in advance. This is much before the extra 25% tariffs imposed by the United States on India. So I think one cannot read too much into that. I think it's just a coincidence that this visit is happening at this point, and these two processes are something which are quite apart from each other. Now, of course, the United States would be looking at this quite closely as to what kind of statements come out and what is the rapprochement between India and China. And the whole SCO meeting itself, as to what it comes out with by way of its joint communique, etc. So that is something that the United States and the West has been wary of for quite some time together. But I see that this particular SCO meeting has a special significance because we have a call of reviving the RIC framework by the Russians. And of course, the Chinese would love to have this revival going forward so that they have an extra pressure point as far as the United States is concerned. So therefore, this SPO meeting will be particularly watched from that angle.
Stresses that it is the first and only European member of the organization, and indeed it offers its geopolitical, geostrategic position as the Eastern European nation to the entire organization, and it looks for opportunities that the status within the organization can bring to the country in terms of foreign policy, in terms of its economy, but also to something it can offer to the organization, being the only European member of the organization. And I think, on the one hand, it is true that the SCO positions itself as a sort of counterbalance to Western influence, but at the same time, I think it is clear that all the members, including Belarus now, are looking for opportunities to bridge and to find ways of cooperation with the West, including through the organization, but to do that on an equal basis, to ensure that there is no dictate on the part of the West when it comes to cooperative projects, cooperation projects. And I think in this respect, Belarus and the SCO do reinforce one another and find ways of strengthening their own position.
Shanghai Cooperation Organization is a framework, a more inclusive framework and less ideologically biased framework for an emerging international order. It's very interesting that, in my view, SCO now is playing a role of stabilizing force rather than previously convinced or previously understood as a noise for international order that was led by the US. No, the SCO is going to be a very important collective framework to stabilize emerging international order around the concept of multilateralism.